So the little box will pop up. Click the word "Got it." It'll clear out of your way, and then we are ready to go. So I'm going to mute everyone, and let's do it. So again, the setup, you need two chairs. These chairs for me, they're actually a little low on the back. If there's a higher backed chair, that's better. But anyway, these serve as the marker. In this space, this is the playground that we do a lot of what we're doing. Like a little runway in front, and then have your third chair a little back from the chairs so that they're out in front of you and off to your either side. Now, starting sitting and chair sitting can be the most easily accessible and incredibly potent practice to align and find your important underlying infrastructural sort of principles, you could say, that align with the Tai Chi Qigong view, because one of the most important parts of balance, of finding balance, is this emphasis on softening, relaxing, and allowing and yielding down through your tissue, through the joints tissue, fluid, all the way settling down. And that's what we want to look for, a feeling of sort of grounded, almost like plugged into the ground rootedness that isn't something we do with effort. It's something we have to release and soften and relax and allow to happen. And then as it happens more and more and more, we find we're balanced underneath and loose and limber up top, changing weight, the body parts move, we can turn, we can adapt, we can lean, we can tilt, we can be on one leg, the other leg. All of that has to come from this soft, pliable, adaptable state. And usually we don't come to our practice with that. We're usually grabbing, holding, trying to make balance happen. So when we sit in our chair, we're safe. You are safe. You're not going to fall from your chair, less likely than when you're standing up. So here we can practice this release and soften, but we can also practice the Zhong Zheng. So I'm turning sideways so you can see. From the tip-top crown of the head down through the middle, the center of the body, down through the perineum, the two buttock bones, down through your chair and through your legs, almost like a tripod. 1, and then 2, 3. We are connecting to the ground. So we've got our upright pillar, and we combine with that soften. So again, get in this shape that I'm in right now. So place your hands on your thighs, be sitting at the front edge of your chair, have this central pillar quality, and then just practice as much relaxing and softening as you can, just simply by choice. So just simply from the brain through the nervous system, just simply saying, relax, soften, let go, release. Now, especially with Parkinson's, but this is really true for everyone's body, when we relax, what you'll find usually is places that are a little bit stuck, little adhesions, little grip points, tone, areas of muscle that are just kind of gripping. And so feel free to allow some little movement, right? So I'll just mimic that here. I'll model that. As I'm sitting here meditating, I might be leaning, arching a little, letting my head drop over to this side because I feel some tightness in my neck here. Then as that softens, I want to roll it to the other side. My head drops a little. Okay, now my shoulders, they wanted to shrug up, so I shrugged them up, and I kind of squeeze like I'm squeezing a rag or a sponge. Oh, my hands, okay, they wanted to kind of loosen. Okay, now my shoulders, they want to relax. Oh, because I went with that movement desire, And a lot of times in Parkinson's, right, that's the dyskinesia idea. There's possibility that if you go with it, it can get out of control. But there's some amount of it that you should indulge, I think, and let it sort of process all the way through. Let it go where it's trying to go, because it comes back around. It cycles back. And then, oh, I feel a little more comfortable in this middle, in this place of central pillar. And I've allowed some softening to the layers of tissue and some satisfaction to the nerves that wanted some movement. So then they're more willing to go, and let go and release. And so then I might be able to sit here in relative stillness for a little bit, and then, oh, maybe now my back wants a little lean. Oh, that feels good. I'll just stay there. Oh, and then back. Oh, now I'm back to the middle, and that feels good again to be here. So if you were doing your home practice and you were sitting, let's say, just for 5 minutes, which I suggest you do 2 to 3 times a day, just pause, calibrate, settle, move, wiggle out in a safe place on this chair. That can be your whole home practice that you do in between our classes during the week. You just make sure you do this once a day, twice a day, calibrate, settle, and connect, right? And over time, you'll find your body likes to be here. This is a natural place for us to be, is this soft, easy, relaxed, still place that doesn't feel like we're holding on and grabbing. So it's a yielding of effort, a release. Now let's just add the breathing awareness. So take your next inhale in through your nose, as full as you feel comfortable. Hold it there for a moment, and then out your mouth, like a sigh. Out. Feel that softening that goes with the sigh. And then when it's time, inhale again. Pulling in, drawing in, filling up, nourishing, feeding. And then relaxing, releasing, letting go. And we'll do that, let's say 10, 12 more breaths. Reclaiming awareness of something that usually we pay no attention to, the breathing. The breathing is usually just kind of going along, haphazard. We're huffing and puffing. We're not even paying attention. And now we're bringing the mind to it and saying, pay very close attention to the inhale that you are taking in now, the pausing of holding that inhale, the sighing exhale out the mouth all the way to empty, and even holding empty, not inhaling right. And then again, inhale. And that hold. And that exhale. That empty hold. Inhale again when you're ready. Let's take 6, 7 more of these. And so your sitting practice could just be this. You're breathing, and as you're breathing, your muscles are stretching, contracting, the structures are opening and closing. Your body awareness is improving, increasing, because you're not thinking about a million different things. You're right here, right now, in your vehicle. And so then that's where all that little wiggle and lean and tilt based on your injuries, your pain, whatever feels good to you, right? And sometimes we're not even paying attention enough to know, but the practice is pay more attention to what it is you are feeling, and then let that be information that you're using. So just final 4 or 5 breaths. You're breathing, you're connecting to your body, you're allowing what little movements want to happen that feel right to you. And this is as important, if not more important, to balancing than doing a million standing up on one foot while holding something and really working and working and working. We don't think about it that way, but this softening, opening, relaxing, and releasing, according to how the Taoists view the body, is the key to balance. That we release what's held in the body so that we have a bottom support and a top light and nimble, right? So slide your hands back now, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest opens, chin up, arching the spine. So this is all 24 vertebrae getting a little extension. And then slide your hands forward past your knees till your arms are straight. And here you got to follow the chest back and drop the head around. And then slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, pulling back, arching, looking up. And then sliding the hands forward past the knees, chest hollows back, drop the head. And again, sliding hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, look up, arching. And slide forward, rounding, dropping the head. Inhale. Exhale. Again, we're loosening up where we're holding. Inhale. Now come back to your neutral, your upright seat. And let's do rotation. Left hand forward, past the knee. Right hand back, elbow back. Turn the shoulders, turn the head. Rotation to the right. And then switch smoothly across to the other side. And then smoothly across back to the first side. And remember, soft, soft, release, relax. In that case, we're now using the hydraulic liquid system of movement rather than, and they call that sung in Taoist, the philosophy, soft, supple, pliable, rather than li, which is clumsy, tension-based strength, meaning we're tightening, holding, and yanking the body around. Instead, we're releasing all of that and sliding and gliding through movement. And round by round, we're polishing out those places that have become rigid, stuck, and stagnant. Back to middle. Arms hang. Very important one here. As we lean to the side, let your body weight go more into your right buttock. And just notice this drooping quality, this leaning. And then lift this left wrist and let your left foot be kind of empty. So notice I'm not pulling my leg with a bunch of effort. It's just, it's empty. It's empty. And the body weight goes down through this right side. Now just soft lean. Other side. Let this right wrist float it up here, loose. Right foot, maybe even a little empty. And then we switch. So the healthy body, the functioning body, has to be these paradoxical yet complementary ideas of totally loose, totally unclenched, ungripped, but not sloppy, totally precise, but not rigid. So we're organized around this sort of still point, and yet the body is just loosely leaning, tilting, floating. And I'll tell you, the more you practice this type of movement, the more you end up being able to do in this state. At first, you have to just practice like we're doing, functional ABC movements. But eventually you can lift things, you can move, you can run, you can, right? With this quality of softness and ease. Now back to middle, arms hang. We do our shoulders. So shoulder blades shrug, squeezing these muscles right up where the neck and shoulder meet. Make sure both of them are lifting. And then melt them both down, totally soft. Lift them both, shrug. Melt them both, soft. Two more, shrug. And again, this is a dissolving of where we normally carry around a huge amount of our stagnation, stiffness, clumsiness, is this upper area. So now to get that even more out, we circle shoulders forward, up, back, down, under, forward, up, over, back, and down. Again, wringing out, cleaning, circle, circle, and reverse. Go back, up, forward, down, back, up. The most important part of this exercise is right here, the release and soften. And then we go on a little adventure with some effort moving through, but then we go, relax, and then do it again. Up, over, and relax. Back, up, over. Good. And one more for the upper body. Bend your elbows. We go elbows out and up. And then elbows down. And then elbows around in front and touch the elbows together if you can. Squeeze them together. And then elbows down. Out and up as high as feels comfortable. Down. Around in front, squeeze. Down. Now, elbows straight back behind you. So you can see from the side, I'm pulling back. And then down, forward, up. Just as much as you can. And then forward, down, back. And then down, forward, up. Forward, down, back. And then down. Now, elbows out to the side one more time, palms facing the floor, one above, one below. Cross and hug your own body. Wrap the hands around the body. Then elbows out to the side, switching, one above, one below. Cross and hug. Elbows out to the side, cross, hug. Elbows out and cross. Great job. Elbows out, down, and hanging. Now, what hopefully has happened is the shoulder blade, shoulder, chest, arm, all of this that's often stuck and tied like up in a tangled knot is a little looser. And what you feel is space, open space. And to feel that, let your arms be very heavy and then just swing forward, back. And notice the difference between really being loose and swinging versus stiff and I'm moving up and moving down, right? You see here, it looks similar, right? But here I'm holding this is that lead, and then I'm moving it and I'm moving it. And at no point am I releasing control versus loose. And that's the feeling that we want in the upper body. And it's very important because usually when we stand up, this is the first place we go, okay, I'm holding myself up. But that just makes us top heavy and able to fall. So when we empty here, loose, light. And then do one forward, one back. That creates a little bit of a turning, a little bit of a rotation. Allow for the turn rather than tighten everything up and turn, right? You see the difference here. Same idea. I mean, it looks the same kind of, but the quality is different versus loose. Just so easy. Finding ease again and settle. All right, scoot a little bit back in your chair. Lift the right knee and pull the right heel in, and then push. Reload, set it down. Other leg, load, push, reload, down. Load, push, load, down. One more each side. So all the joints here, loose, relaxed, fluid. Now straighten your right leg out, point foot, flex foot, point, flex, point, flex. And invert, evert, invert, evert, in. And circle, in, around, and out, in, around, and out. Reverse, out, around, and in. And down. Other leg, straighten it. Point foot, flex foot. Point foot, flex foot. Invert, tilt, evert, tilt. Tilt, 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 tilt. Circle, in, around, and out. Out, around, and in. And down. Scoot forward to the front edge once again. Step your feet wider apart than your hip distance, so there's extra space here. Lift the toes off the floor, heels stay on the ground. Turn from the hip socket, so your knees and toes point in, and then lift your toes again and turn out. See how wide the knees go, toes point out, groin area open, groin area closes. Open, close. Open, close. Open, close. And neutral. Final one before we stand up. From that same space, remember what I was talking about with regards to space here, same idea in what they call the quad, this groin area where the legs and pelvis meet. So we just open and close that space. And what we want to then feel is how the pelvis can fold forward at that space. Fold all the way forward and then sit back upright and lean a little bit backwards from that hip space. So all of this change of the body, angled here, back to vertical, leaning a little bit back, all of that is occurring at one place. There's nothing else happening anywhere else except right at that quad. And yet we're changing our relationship to gravity in very impactful ways. So you want to feel how easy it is when this area is open to just kind of fall forward and sit back up, lean, and just really feel that easiness. Then, now we stand up. So again, remember, empty, loose quality, empty up here. Slide your feet back a little bit, empty and open in your quad, and just fold. Arms float out a little in front of your feet, and then just stand up. And when you come up, notice the tendency to grab on in the chest, shoulder, and then say, no, no need. Let the weight go down through you, under your feet. Let the weight go out of the body and feel like you just plugged in to a grounded, almost like a magnetic quality of grounding. And then fold at the hips. So that same space, hinge, and then just fold and let the knees naturally bend and lean back. So if you do this right, there's no oomph, no effort required. You can melt, soften, keep soft, and stand up. And then the same thing on the way down. We're just soft and relaxed, folding the body up like a folding chair, and then just sitting back. Two more. We just soft, fold. So again, notice my first gesture when standing up is not up. That's where people get in trouble. They think up. Up. No, it's forward, out of the chair. And then the up is, second nature. It's easy. So get forward enough that you're out of the chair and in your legs, then you come up. Now let's do a few where you don't sit in your chair. Don't sit down, but go as if, sink all the way down and come all the way up. And do this in a way where you don't grab onto your chest and shoulders. Arms are just loose. And they hang, you just sink and fold. Press to the earth and rise. So again, we're not sitting in the chair, we're just folding and rising. So this is the perfect practice, this Tai Chi squat, for feeling what's called Qing Ling. So Chun One is this releasing of your body weight under your feet, under the ground. So you feel grounded rather than up here above the ground. You're grounded. And Qing Ling is light, nimble, fluid, easy, loose quality through the body. So when we do this, sink, rise, we're just going soft, loose. Let everything just be as it is without you thinking you need to hold it in some way. Just as absolutely soft and loose as possible. All right, now we're standing. Make your way closer to this right side chair. Your right hand can touch it. And for this first practice, ideally, no hands, because this is the easiest one. But as we go level 2, level 3 on each exercise, you'll need the chair probably. So level 1, let your body weight, instead of being in both legs, just very casually let it spill into only your right leg and feel your left leg be emptier. Now, with it empty, notice that you could lift the heel, possibly even get to the tippy toe of that empty foot, lower that foot back to the floor while still empty, and then change. So now left leg is the full leg, right foot is empty, and I haven't lifted it yet. All I've done is change its fullness to emptiness. Then I lift the heel and toe, then place the heel back down, still empty, and then change. So notice the changing of full to empty has nothing to do with the picking of a foot up off the ground or putting it down. It's internal, like in a seesaw. This middle pivot of a seesaw is where all the magic happens. So you're finding and cultivating your middle pivot here. So as you're over in your right leg, you just lift this empty side of the scale, empty side of the seesaw, back down, and then middle pivot. And then this leg is full, this is empty, lift and lower. So the big mistake that's happening in our bodies is called double weighted, which means we're not changing the quality of the leg from full to empty, empty to full. We're just two full stiff legs trying to walk. And that's like walking on peg legs. It's not very agile and not very grounded. Versus here, one is very well grounded, the other free. So now let's go to level 2 here. You're going to use the chair as needed. Change the weight to your left leg, get to the right tippy toes, chair as needed, disconnect the foot from the floor, reconnect the foot to the floor, change. Body weight goes down through the right leg till left foot is empty, get to tippy toe, disconnect, reconnect, change. So remember, this has nothing to do with the lifting of the foot. You have to change the full and empty. Then because it's empty, this is no problem. Lift and lower. And then change again. And because that's now full, this is empty, it's lift and lower. And then change. Lift and lower. Change. Lift, lower. Now level 3, change. Hand on chair here so that you can really practice complete lift, as high as it could possibly go, and then all the way to the ground with no body weight. So long, soft and long. Change. Other leg, all the way up. And then stay nice and upright as the leg goes down. So don't let it pull you down. And then change. Sinking down through your standing leg, that's what allows this loosening. And then all the way down, still empty. Change. Lift. lower, change. And change. Last one. Up, down, change. Weight goes into your left leg. Next set of exercises. Heel out in front. So I'm turning sideways so you can see. It's not big. It's not a humongous step. It's just right out in front, easy, comfortable. Now, shift. Emphasis is down, not forward. And then shift into your back leg. Emphasis is down, not forward, or not backwards. Shift down through that right leg, and naturally your body moves forward in space, and naturally it moves backwards in space. So as you're moving, you're keeping that jung or central upright, and you're just easily moving a little forward, easily moving a little back. Anytime we think too much about forward, we're up here and we're going to go off middle, or backwards, we're going to go off middle. So keep that relaxed middle and just forward and back shift. Okay? Now, level 2. So when you're back in your back leg, your front leg is empty, lift and lower. So use your chair for safety here. A little lift, lower. And now we shift. Once the weight is in your right leg, with your back leg, just bend the knee. Little flamingo. Lift, down. And then shift. Once you're in your back leg, this front leg should be able to lift, lower with no problem. And then shift, bend, shift. Sitting through that back leg allows this to be empty. And then sitting through this front leg allows this back leg empty. So at no point are we just hoping for the best and yanking the leg off the ground. No, we're very clear on full empty. And then changing that, full empty. Now, stay back here, hand on chair as needed, lift, heel down to the ground, shift, and then your back leg forward and up. Reach the toe back, shift back. Again, lift, down, shift. Forward and up, back, shift, lift, lower, shift, lift, back, shift. Now we're going to switch sides. So bring your right foot next to your left foot, change your weight to your right foot, side step, and get closer. Now, right foot all the weight in it, put left foot out in front, empty with the heel touching. Again, remember that small step. Now, shift, let the weight go down through tippy toe. And then shift, let the weight go down through tip of the heel. Shift, tip toe. Shift, tip of the heel. Shift, shift. Loose. What can be so empowering about these exercises is realizing you can let go of whatever you're doing that's extra, that's taking up your energy, that's keeping you from grounding. And eventually you're just soft and relaxed as you move. Now, level 2, hand on chair. That front leg lift, lower, shift. Now again, your back leg is empty, just bend the knee, toe down, shift back. From the hip, lift, lower. Now that leg full, the other one empty, so it can lift and lower, no problem. Shift, lift, shift. Bend the knee. Shift. One more. Shift. Everything down, everything released. Everything connected and plugged into the earth. Now, level 3, hand on chair as needed. Lift, loose, back down to the heel. Change. This leg, knee forward and up. Reach the toe back with no body weight. And then shift. sitting through that leg. This is empty. And then chain. Lift. Back. Chain. One more. Step the feet together. We're going to go back to the first chair side. Now, put your right foot out in front again, empty. Change the weight into that right foot. Left foot empty. Step forward with an empty foot. Empty. Chain. Tippy toe. And then let's go backward. Shift back. Once your front foot is empty, then it can just swing back. And shift. Shift. Step the empty foot. Shift. Shift back. Step the empty foot back. Shift back. Again. Shift. Step. Shift. Shift back. Step back. Shift. One more. So it's the premature stepping that gets people in trouble. It's trying to pick the foot up before you've actually emptied it. That makes us use lead or tension clumsy strength. Now, level 2, hand on chair as needed. We do the same thing. Lift, lower, shift. Then we add, pick this foot up like you're stepping over an obstacle and place the foot down and then shift. And then this back leg, flamingo, lift and lower. Now we shift back, this front leg, we got to go up, tuck, reach. So we're stepping over something and then shift back. From the hip, lift, lower, shift. Now full empty, because this is empty, it should be able to just float like a feather up and over. And then we change. Now this is full as a mountain. And this is a cloud, right? That's another, I like that poetic imagery. The mountain and the cloud, being able to change from one being as sturdy as a mountain, the other as floaty and free as a cloud, and then change. So now this is your mountain, this is your cloud. And then mountain, cloud, mountain. Take the time to feel that changeover happen. Now, level 3, hand on chair as needed. All the way up, all the way down. That's the cloud. Then this becomes that mountain, and this side we go heel to butt, knee up, foot floating out, just softly down to the earth, and then we shift. Now, this is the mountain. This floats up, reaches back, shift, mountain, cloud. Mountain, full, empty, full, empty, full. So you may not be able to make the transformation happen as quickly as I'm showing it. So please go as slow as is required for you to actually feel that sturdiness and feel that lightness, right? So you might do 2 rounds for me doing 7, right? Because you're really taking your time and going, okay, let me get real steady, real sturdy here. Okay, now I'm floating that cloud, floating it very slow, control, right? So this could be a very valuable pace that I'm showing now, just changing, waiting for it, feeling little quivers, right? And then you go, then you come back, right? So pacing yourself, but understanding the same principles are at play. We're going to switch to the other side. So bring right foot next to your left, change, side step. Now we're over here. Put the weight in your right leg, left foot out in front, heel softly touching. Level 1, This is the best one to practice, no hands on anything, if you can, because it's just shift, casual step, shift. Right? So we're here. And then shift back, just casual, easy step, shift back, empty. So think mountain and cloud again. Make your left leg the mountain, right foot's the cloud. And then mountain, cloud. Shift, step, shift. The softer and looser, the more organized. Right? So it's like organizing the body by letting it be totally loose, free, and limber. It's kind of a paradox at first. It's like, well, if I let go, how can I organize it? I'm releasing control. But there's an underlying control or organization in the liquid matrix, the liquid integrity of the body. And so when we're here, we're not allowing that support network to be there. Now, level 2, that front leg empty, hip hinge, down, shift. And then we step up and over something with that floating empty foot, and then shift. Now this back leg empty, just bend the knee like a little, right, like a little flamingo. And then back. Empty foot, light, lift, take it up and over, step behind. And then from the hip, lift, lower, shift, this right foot empty, up and over. And again, it's my left foot, but I'm saying right because I'm being your mirror. And flamingo. Shift. Up, tuck, reach. Shift. Hip in, down. Shift. Over. Now, hand on chair for level 3, lift, lower, shift. Now that this leg is the cloud, we go heel to butt, knee up, foot out, empty and relaxed, then shift. This back leg comes forward and up, reaches back, empty and loose, change. Now this is the mountain, this is the cloud. This cloud can lift, tuck, and reach back, empty, and then we shift, lift, lower, shift, heel, knee, foot, down, shift. See if you can let go of some other layer, right? Whatever's the next layer of grip, because there's always another layer. You can assume that there's a layer that you're holding that could be released. And see if you can just lightly soften a little bit more. Feel that hydraulic quality just a little bit more. Pause for a moment. We do what's called shogun, wings. Turn your palms up and fold at the elbows, sort of circular gathering gesture. And then settle the mind, settling with the hands like a stone falling through a pond, and how it comes to rest at the bottom of the pond. The hands right at the belly button. This is where the Taoists say this is our middle. We want our mind to rest there. The chi naturally settles back to this place, like how water returns to a reservoir naturally. You just let this settling process happen. And now you stay where you're at. I'm adjusting. So now we are the same, facing the same way. Move to your left side of the runway. Turn and face back across to the other side of your runway that's out in front of you. Level 1. Empty your left foot and put it out in front. Empty. Change into it. Right foot now empty, step it, keep it empty, and then shift. Left foot step, Keep it empty. Shift. So notice this little soft bend, this lift, step, shift. Shift. Now we go back, but remember, by back, I mean mostly down. Step the foot back empty, and then down. Step, down. Step, down. Step, down. Let's do that again. Down. Step the foot while it's still empty. Down. Down. Mountain and cloud. Every step is a change from one to a mountain, the other to a cloud, and then back and back. That's the essential ability that unlocks not just walking, but really all the different Tai Chi movements, poses. It's this ability to let that weight get out. And then this body becomes capable of so much. Let's go level 2, where you shift and then you're stepping over something. Your chairs are there on your left if you need them. Oh. Change. The cloud foot, stepping over. Cloud foot. And back. So the backward, be very careful. And just keep thinking down, 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 softening down, connecting down. The earth gives you that support that you're looking for. Alrighty, now when you're back at the starting point, turn forward, face forward, and change the weight into your left leg, right foot empty. Now we step right foot out, right foot in. Out, in. Out, in. Now, out, leave it out. Change the weight to the right leg. Change the weight to the left leg. Keep doing that. Change the weight. Change the weight. Mountain, cloud, mountain, cloud. Notice the central line stays pretty much intact. Again, not because I'm holding it, but because I'm relaxed. And weight into the right leg. Now bring your left foot in, out. It stays a cloud the whole time. Floats in, floats out. Even though I'm not putting weight in it, try to get the heel to touch the ground. So it's not just the toe that you're reaching like people often do this. No, step to where the whole foot can get down. Whole foot, whole foot, whole foot. Now stay close together. Change your weight to your left. Empty right. Change your weight to your right. Empty left. Change. Change. Central pillars intact. Relaxed body, loose. Right? Now stay in your left leg. Step out with the right. Change to your right leg. Left foot is now empty. Bring it in. Change to the left leg, right foot empty, step out. Change to right leg, left foot empty, step in. Change and step. Change and step. Change and step. Change and step. Going back. Central pillar. Relax. Floating as if you're just sitting on your chair or sitting in your meditation cushion. Meditate. This central pillar, almost like it's of a different, layer of reality, right? It's internal, it's floating, it's relaxed. And this outer body, we're just using the mechanism. Let's go there and back one more time. Just using the available mechanisms with the least amount of excess effort, relax, right? And Tai Chi would be, adding different moves, right? We've been practicing this one a bit. Right? There's all kinds of different moves you could do, but underlying it's just simple and easy. Easy shift, easy change. Right, I'm just giving an example of the different underlying angles and challenges that you can create while moving in this way. Right? And the shogun. Hands down. And let's finish with our rotational movement. Come between your chairs. Empty that right foot. Turn it out. Turn it in. Turn it out. Turn it in. Now, what you want to also feel is the pelvis, the hips, upon which the spine and head and ribs and shoulders, everything's attached to this pelvis. Ideally, everything up here is relaxed. So now the left leg is your support leg. So when you turn this right leg out, let the pelvis turn, let the torso turn a little bit. And then the same thing, when you turn it in, let the pelvis turn. So you kind of are in a little pigeon-toed position. You can look over here, and then you can look over here, and then you can look over here. Now, back to middle, let's do that the other leg. So pour the weight to the left leg, right leg, turn left foot out and let the pelvis turn a little, let the body turn, let the head turn. And then like there's something over here we got to pay attention to the right. So we're internally rotating, kind of pigeon-toeing, and then we're externally rotating, we're facing here. And then intern. And look at over there. And then external. Intern. Back to neutral. Change your weight to your left leg. Now we're going to do our quarter turning. Turn right leg out. Shift into the right leg. Let the body finish that turn and bring the left foot to match the right foot. And then change the weight into your left foot and turn. Right foot out. The body turns a little bit. And then shift. And now you should be facing away from your camera. And then empty the right foot again. Turn it out. Let the body turn softly. And shift. And then again, empty the right foot, turn it out, shift. Let's do it again. Empty right foot, turn. How casual, how relaxed can every square inch of your body be? And that has to come from the brain, has to come from the mind. The breathing helps. Once you get all the way around, then let's turn left leg out now. Shift into it, step the right foot to match. And just as casual as you can, use this cloud-like emptiness to be what gives you the power of movement. So you empty by filling up the right leg, and then your body is free to turn, the leg's free to turn, and then you shift and bring it around. And again, you fill up that right leg, let it go through. Change, go around twice. And so in the same way, if you don't know the alphabet, you can't write poetry. That's for sure. Right? So these are the alphabetic foundational ideas of how we make ourselves capable of movement. Now we're going to switch something here. Once you get facing forward, instead of turning your right leg out, turn it that little bit in, and then shift onto the right leg and bring the left foot back to match the right foot. And again, empty the right foot and do that little turn in, and then shifting back into it and reorient to neutral. And then empty right foot, turn it in, and shift. Empty right foot, turn it in, shift. Again, if you can't do this, you can't do any other complex movement, right? If you can't control empty, full, and turn and keep your middle, right? And so just getting clear on the power of this as well. It's not some ineffectual accomplishment. It's very powerful to be able to change where I'm facing. Now let's use the left leg, empty the left foot, turn, shift, and bring the right foot to match. Empty left foot, turn, shift, right foot to match. Turn, right foot to match. Empty, turn. But if there's something I need to pay attention to, I first need to orient to it and keep my steadiness. And so it's in that moment that a lot of people get in trouble. Something happens and they get yanked and they get thrown off balance, especially as we age, or if you're dealing with something like Parkinson's, something that's sort of throwing off the motor calibration. And so here we're just learning how to keep a stillness. And then finally, we'll put them together. So watch me do one round so you can see it. Not only do I turn the right foot out, but I'm shifting, turning, and pigeon toe this foot. Then I'm shifting, and so now in just 2 foot movements, I've gotten 180, face all the way behind me. Now I'm going to get back to facing behind me by going 1 foot out, shift, and this left foot, turn, and now I'm 180 again. Let's do that twice together. Right foot out, shift, turn, pigeon toe, shift, turn. Turn it out, shift, turn, pigeon toe, shift. Can you be relaxed? Can it be easy? Can it be underlying stillness? Underlying stillness. And we go the other way. Turn out, shift, turn, pigeon toe. Shift, turn. Out. Stay vertical, Janet. Make sure this isn't happening. Vertical. And then just turn around the vertical. Drop the arms. And we're back to middle. From here, shogun. Hands together. Back of one hand. Palms. Back of other hand. Palms. That quad, the groin area. Notice how the hands move in a V. In a V. In, out, right? That's the quad. Then the hip flexors, they move more around circumferentially. Then sacrum, a smaller V. Lumbar, just right along those muscles. And then stick the butt back, sitting, sweeping the hands down the legs, around to the inside, all the way up the inside to the navel. Again, groin, the V, hip flexors, circumferential, sacrum, like a little V, lumbar, the low back muscles, and down through the yang channels, up through the yin channels. One more. Quad, hip flexor, sacrum, lumbar, yang, and yin to the middle. Up the outer arm to the shoulder, turn that palm up, sweep off the fingertips. Do that again on the same arm. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2. Switch arm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Shogun last time, closing, settling to that middle. Sealing, center palm over the navel, other hand And then the hand mudra or gesture, grab one thumb, fold. So you see like a little, almost like a yin yang symbol. So harmonize. And thank you, everybody. So make sure you know where your chair is, have a seat. If you have any questions, we can discuss for a little bit. And if you do have a question, you'll have to unmute. And Ellen and Carl, your guys' cameras are off, which is fine if that's how you want it, no problem. But just letting you know.